So I just got back from Maker Faire, the Holy Land for do-it-yourselfers, and I got a lot of comments and questions about this, a camera stabilizer I just made. And I'm going to tell you a bit about how I made it, but first I want to give credit to W.S. Claytor. His website can be found here, and definitely check it out if you're planning on making one of these on your own. I basically based my design off of his. Now, a camera stabilizer works by moving the camera's center of gravity from about here to down here, just below the gimbal, with counterweights. I look at the stabilizer as three different parts. The first and most important part is the gimbal, and this is what will kind of isolate your hand movements from the whole rig. I made mine from a jump rope handle. As you can see, it already has a ball bearing in it, embedded in it, which is really smooth and really handy. And then for the rest of the gimbal, I used a U-joint, and this is from a remote control cars. I found this at my local hobby shop. It's really cheap. It's like $8 for two. This particular one is Traxxas brand. And then to get it to fit, I shaved and cut down with a razor so it would fit inside the inner race of the bearing, and then basically beat it in there with a hammer. The second part is the plate, or the base plate for the rig. This is what'll attach to the camera. Mine's made from aluminum, really easy to work with, really soft, easy to drill and cut. The top plate is for the camera, and here's holes, different mounting holes, so I can move the camera forward or backward to adjust for weight or lenses. When I do it again, I'd like to have this more refined, either more holes or a larger plate, or maybe just a track so the whole camera could be moved smoothly up and down it. And the bottom plate is for the gimbal and handle. What I ended up doing was cutting a hole in the aluminum, which is the size of the spline shaft but smaller than the female shaft here. So what it essentially is doing is, when it's in there, it is pinching. It's kind of pinching the bottom plate like that. And then I drilled a small hole and drove a cotter pin through it to keep the handle and gimbal from falling off. The other thing with the bottom plate here is I flattened a strong tie angle bracket and attached it because it's made of steel, so that way I can add magnets to it and adjust them to really trim out the balance of it. The third part is the arm, and I made mine from PVC conduit. You know, it's really cheap from Home Depot, something like 50 or 60 cents a piece. These are 45-degree angle pieces, and I got 4 of them and glued them together. It's easy to work with. I mean, really easy to drill holes into. Drilled a hole through here for the weights up here in front, and attached an aluminum piece here that I got from an industrial sort of warehouse supplier, and drilled holes so I could move weights forward or backward. The downside to this PVC pipe, it's half-inch PVC, is it's pretty flexible. It's flexible, which you really don't want for a camera stabilizer. You want it to be as rigid as possible. So what I do is I probably try to use aluminum. So the weight's down here on the bottom of the arm is what brings the center of gravity down towards the gimbal, and the weights in front right here on the arm also help bring the nose down a bit, but also make the camera more resistant to panning, so it's not so easy to turn the camera and wobble it. What I use for counterweights are washers, fairly big washers from hardware store. These ones are the main weights. I also used some smaller ones for fine tuning. And these also are just, any hardware store. So there you go. a cheap way to get smoother shots. Check back soon for coverage of the Maker Faire, which incidentally features a lot of this stabilizer.